WITCHRIV Chapter 5. You know, it really does get to a point that, you know, just waiting every single Wednesday for that chapter to drop, I was sitting here looking at my clock, right, waiting for 9 a.m. to strike. It was truly painful because I needed my WITCHRIV withdrawal symptoms to be cured.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Yes, sir, brother.
WITCHRIV really is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, I see what the author's trying to do here with opening up more of this story, because this chapter really does start to solidify the grounds and maybe even plant some seeds for what we are going to see with the rest of this arc. Before we get into talking about this chapter, let's just go ahead and retrace our steps. You know, if you haven't watched the last video I did on chapter 4, go ahead and give it a try. Trust me, you might like it. Or watch the theory video I made on what exactly overall is. But anyway, where we last left off in chapter 4, Nona and Mira left the facility in which they were being held captive in, and they are heading on their way over to Zui because they heard that a facility, an overall facility, number 6, was attacked by the mage group named Kuovelta. Kuovelta is like 8 mages that go around freeing other mages that have been sent over to Uvril. And Zui is the city or the town which is near that facility, so Nona and Mira are heading over there so they can get any information about Kuovelta, maybe even perhaps meet them. But there is one problem. With Kuovelta attacking this facility, and it's caused the road to be completely blocked off. Blocked off so much so that it could take months for it to open back up again. That's how serious this was. Nona and Mira then find out that the only way they can perhaps maybe get into the city still is by having a permit or being like a delivery person per se. And then that's where we meet the main person of chapter 5. We're gonna get to his name in a bit because it has been revealed this chapter. He is trying to get something delivered into Zui City, but he can't because the roads are blocked off and no delivery person is willing to do it because they're afraid of Kuovelta, leading to Nona. I said Nona. Nona and Mira being the 2 people that can get whatever this item is delivered. And then we also find out what this chapter, and then we also find out what this item is in chapter 5 too. So let's go ahead and start talking about chapter 5. I'm not gonna lie, I had my suspicions about this guy in chapter 4, but now those suspicions are starting to go away, and I'll explain why by just reviewing this chapter. So we learned that this guy's name is Kurt, and Kurt, well, I'll get to how they find out exactly what his job or what he specializes in is. When Kurt takes them over into his abode, his humble abode, his little shack, his little house, Nona and Mira take a look around. The whole room is messy, and they see a bottle of like red paint or so on the ground, and they don't know it's paint. See, I'm giving the clues away. They don't know that it's paint. They think it's blood, and so they make the dash for it, and they trip over some like canvases that are on the ground, and it turns out that Kurt is an artist, and he explains that he met this old couple, right? This old couple, and they are the reason why he is able to do what he does. They are pretty much the people that first started giving him a chance on being able to do what he loves, which is painting, artistry. That's what he loves doing. And so, well, you know, after he's done explaining that he's an artist or whatnot, Nona introduces herself as not herself, but still actually herself. They use fake names but still use pretty much their names. She calls herself Nona. Maybe that's why. Or Nonalia. And then she said make it short for Nona. And then she said this is my friend Mira, but you can call her Mira. I'm just like, that's not really disguising your name. Leading up with this backstory, or you know, why he does what he does, I kind of do have a sort of leading theory with exactly what Kurt is. I'm gonna just tell you right now, I think he's a mage. I'm just thinking everybody's a mage at this point, but I low-key think he's a mage. Maybe so, and I'll probably get to explaining that a little bit later in this video, but first I just want to keep laying down the seeds of, you know, what exactly he does and well, I've already explained what he does, but exactly why he does what he does. So this old couple that I was previously talking about, right? Well, like I said, they gave him a chance on everything. They go out on adventures, and they love coming back and telling Kurt all about those adventures, and he paints them in those sceneries that they're talking about. And he does it so well. He uses the colors greatly, which is why I'm starting to kind of think he's maybe a mage or something like that. He's just probably that gifted. But he gets a commission from them every single year, and he loves painting their stories. Well, this year they haven't come back for some reason, which kind of has me worried just a little bit. And he wants to just go ahead and get this delivered to Zooey anyway. And he wants Nona and Mira to relay a message. He wants them to tell them that not a single material item that he used to get these paintings out went to waste. He put everything into them. And that he is just beyond grateful for what they have done for him in his life and his career as an artist. But not everything is all sunshine and rainbows in this chapter, because we get a knock at the door. And let me just say, the dude who reveals himself at this door has a very punchable face. He is some rich man who apparently has visited Kurt here before. He's trying to employ his services as his exclusive artist. And like I said before, he's been at this door before, meaning that Kurt has most probably already declined him. You know, this guy once previously offered 20 million. I don't know how much that translates over into USD, but I hear a million, I get to scratching my head. And so instead of 20 million, he gets the idea and just says, you know what? How about I just go ahead and offer you 100 million instead? First off, how do you have that much money? I know you're rich, but 100 million? I don't know how much that, like I said, I don't know how much that translates into yen. I don't know how much that translates into USD, but that's 100 mil. Like, are you out here running auctions or stuff like that for mages? And then this jerk, he sees the painting which Kurt has drawn for this old couple, and he just straight up tells Kurt, hey, I love your paintings. The attention to detail is great, but the people that you draw on that, bro, it's trash. It's bland. It's garbage. That's not even a real translated word, but I like saying that, so I'm gonna say that. Anyway, this dude just pretty much trashes on the people that which Kurt has drawn for. He says you should find something else to find inspiration for drawing, like me. And you know what? Our girl, RMC, she's heard enough. She has heard enough. Enough is enough. She goes up to this rich guy and she pretty much tells him off, saying, "Can you leave? Can you get out of here?" The rich guy at the door prompts and asks, yo, who is this girl? And she says, I am the delivery girl that has been tasked with delivering this painting. And the guy's like, this is none of your business. But then Nona just says something very true. If you don't have any experience in the arts, or you don't know how it works, you really don't have any right telling an artist what is bland to them. And you know, if you can't tell how much effort is actually put into it, why are you talking in the first place? The feelings, the effort, the thought behind everything that goes into an art piece, which, you know, this translates into the real world. A lot of people trash on art when they don't even know how much effort actually goes into that. And if you can't understand any of that, then you really have no right to appraise the art. This then prompts Kurt to decline him once again. And this guy leaves a threatening message saying, you're going to regret this. You know how good at art you gotta be for somebody to be that mad that you decline them, that they said you're gonna regret doing this? That's crazy. But anyway, we are then prompted with Mira, who like comes after Nona saying like, oh my god, you declined it for him, it's 100 million. She genuinely wants the best for this guy. It's 100 million. And then the guy, Kurt, he's like, it's cool. He then wants to add a few touches, and he asks Nona and Mira if they could give him some time to just give some finishing touches. And he takes a moment. He remembers what Nona said about his art and how she defended him, and he gets a little emotional, and that's where we pretty much end the chapter. This is a great chapter, bro. Excellent chapter. I do want to talk about perhaps a theory that I may have. I think he's a mage. I think he might be a mage that uses his art, his magic to like help him do his art, maybe, perhaps. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I genuinely think he might be a mage. Maybe that's one of the bigger reasons as to why he probably declined, because he doesn't want that found out. I mean, obviously he also wants to just continue doing, you know, art for the old couple, because why would you want to exclusively, I mean, a lot of people become exclusively artists for others if it pays well, but for him, personally, he loves doing art for them. If he can't do art for them, then what's the point? You know, if he becomes exclusively a artist for someone else. But anyway, I still think that he might be a mage, and perhaps maybe the reason why the couple hasn't returned. I know that the road blockage has a play in that, but maybe, just maybe, because you saw how paranoid these people are in chapter 1. They saw this girl, Nona's friend, have a new pair of glasses within 3 days, and you're just like, she could have easily had a backup pair, but no, they immediately saw that she had a new pair of glasses after Nona fixed them, and immediately called like the magic cops, the bureau, and got them pretty much killed. Maybe perhaps someone was visiting these old people in their house, because they do like to hang up the art in their house, and saw that they kept getting these arts with such crazy attention to detail, and there's like, no way this couple could have possibly got that, and they ratted on them. And then the person who, the bureau, whatever person came over to them, maybe started trying to question them, but they didn't rat out our boy Kurt here. Maybe they didn't rat him out, and maybe they're in trouble. That's my theory. I think he might be a mage, and the old couple knew, but they didn't care because they loved the arts that he produced. I think that might be the case, which would add on such a huge layer of sadness, and just more going to show how actually brutal this world is, in the world of WITCHRIV, which, you know, it's brutal, but I freaking love it. I love it. I don't know why. Am I a masochist? But maybe he's just one of the humans who comes along in this world and maybe comes to appreciate mages, because I think he is going to find out one way or another that Nona and Mira are mages. Maybe he is just not a mage, and he comes to appreciate that, hey, mages are pretty freaking cool, and she said all this for him. And, you know, maybe the journey, right? The journey that which Mira and Nona take on, maybe they meet a bunch of, you know, regular people, you know, and they come to appreciate what mages really are in this world, and maybe they set forth a bigger path in letting mages and humans pretty much coexist. But this story is pretty brutal so far, so I don't know. Maybe not. But I will say one thing. I absolutely love Nona Ewan. Her development as this strong, handfast, you know, girl. You saw how she was able to just quickly go and defend Kurt here. I hope to keep seeing more of this. I know that the story is probably going to get more brutal as the chapters go by. I sense the author is cooking up something crazy for these upcoming chapters, and I just can't wait. You have me. I say this every single time I've been reviewing a chapter. I think I'm here. You got me every Wednesday or Thursday. You take a break. Take your break if you need to, author son, because I love it. Love it. But hey, let me know what your thoughts are on this chapter of WITCHRIV. I think I might go ahead and I have a theory cooking up maybe about another thing that a commenter on one of my YouTube videos was talking about, and I looked back over in chapter 1 and I'm just like, you might be right. I'm gonna talk about it. So like I said before, let me know what your thoughts are on this chapter. Let me know if you have any theories. Let me know if you are loving this series as much as I am. I appreciate everybody for watching this, taking times out of their day to just watch this. Maybe you're eating a snack or something. I appreciate that. But other than that, hey, I think that's going to do it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. 07.